Welcome to the course on advanced power electronics. Today we will cover the modular multi-level converter. So coming to modular multi-level converters, the modular multi-level converter is one of the recent development in the multi-cell converter family. The multi-level modular multi-level MMC preserve the features of cascaded converter topology and does not require isolated DC sources and complicated phase shifting transformers. Therefore, MMC can reach any operating voltage from the medium voltage typically from 2.3 kV to 13.8 kV to high voltage 33 kV to 400 kV and power rating of 300 kilowatt to up to thousands of megawatt. So this is typically a configuration of your modular multi-level converters. Of course, there is a one typical here. Of course, there are some module and of course a DC link capacitor, but there is a typically a new interface in between the couple of inductors in between, which allow typically the balancing of the difference in the two voltage because of this filtering effect. So the voltage and power capacity of MMC can be naturally increased by adding the submodule in each arm, and similar to other cascade converter topology, any power converter circuit such as full bridge and or edge bridge, a Young capacitor and neutral converter can be utilized as a submodule in MMC. And the three-phase MMC can also be extended to multi-phase applications because of its modular construction. Now coming to applications of this modular multi-level converters. So if we talk about, so starting first is the medium voltage drive, motor drive. These are very much used for high rating drive up to typically up to 70 megawatt or so. Another is the transport transmission system, especially in HVDC transmission system, then multi-terminal HVDC system and offshore wind farm system. Of course, for power quality, or you can call it in transmitter, they use for static synchronous compensator for reactive power generation and unified power quality conditioner, typically for compensation of the voltage sags well apart in addition to the current power quality power. So this is typically a first, you can call it applications of medium voltage drive system where we have a MMC based motor drive with passive rectifier. So on input, of course, we have a passive rectifier which rectified. Normally such drive are used squirrel cage induction motor for very high power rating, or like a typically a large compressors for driving the large refrigeration plant and many others. And on the input side, of course, it's shown as a 12 pulse converter, but will use even 18 pulse or 24 pulse converter also, which reduces the harmonic on the supply side also. So another configuration is that we use the typically on both sides identical MMC as a working as a rectifier, another of typically as a inverter, but this can be as a having a even a bidirectional power flow also because of this of similar voltage source converter of multi-level kind on both sides. Another for use for your HVDC system. This is typically a voltage source converter based HVDC system for this multi-level modular converter can be used for high voltage, high power, so it can be extended easily for HVDC converter station. The benefit of such a voltage source converter is that you can generate the reactive power, and it does not have a harmonics also because you have a multi-step waveform which are close to the sinusoidal. So current is also typically, so you know to do extra effort putting the filter as you can use in thyristor converter as well as you put a reactive power plant. I mean in the bank of capacitors as well as the passive filter. So here it is not required in such a system HVDC system. And this is typically multi-terminal HVDC. So of course this is a basic HVDC voltage source converter based HVDC. So on DC link you can put many converters also connected in parallel. So that can be easily extended for multi-level. I mean the voltage source converter topology can easily be extended with multiple converters which can take power from the DC link or can feed the power from to the DC link from different sources also. Another is offshore wind farm. This is quite popular that in wind farm, especially in offshore, we have a lot of wind farms, especially as it is written 6.5 megawatt. So here we can use typically, this HVDC system for the DC transmission system because in long cable it's not practically possible on AC to transmit the power. So this provides even the voltage regulation as well as the compensation of reactive power also because of the features of forecasted operation of this multi-level voltage source converters typically. So these are very popular for especially in HVDC to connect to your high power grid also. The another is static synchronous compensators. This multi-level, the benefit again that you are keeping a converter in a devices in a particular manner, so that reduces the harmonic and can generate even the typically, it did not really generate the harmonics, and it really can give you reactive power without any much problem, and response is quite fast compared to the synchronous condenser. So they are going to be very popular, and especially here you can avoid the transformer also normally. Otherwise, with the 2-level or 3-level voltage source converters, we need the transformer for interconnecting this to high voltage transmission system also. And similarly, we have your typically your UPQC, MMC based UPQC. So here, not only it can do typically job for it can provide the compensation. Typically, the bidirectional power flow is possible, and then compensate for the typically of load also locally on UPQC, this UPQC also also. So coming to MMC configurations, so the basic configuration of MMC, that of multi-level converter. So where you can call it a lot of some modules are connected in series, in each leg, and then you have a couple of interfacing inductors or so. So typically for 3-phase, it can be extended more than 3-phase also. So the generalized circuit configuration of 3-phase multi-level converters is shown in the previous slide. So DC system of the MMC is often referred to as an DC bus or DC link connected to the positive and negative bars of the converter legs, and the 3-phase AC system is connected to midpoint of each leg, ABC. So each leg of MMC is divided into 2 arms. The arms connected to the positive bar are referred to as the upper arms, and the arms connected to negative bar are referred to the lower arms, and each arm has a group of submodules and inductor L. The arm inductor is connected to in series with each group of submodules to limit the current due to the instantaneous voltage difference between the arms. So coming to main features of this MMC, it has a modular construction with an ability to scale the voltage and current rating, and it can generate the output voltage and current waveform with reduced dV by dt, and typically an output voltage with very low total harmonic distortion can be obtained. MMC can produce the output voltage waveform with very large number of voltage levels. Hence, it is possible to operate the submodules with a very low switching frequency, including even a fundamental frequency, and it can employ redundant submodules in each arm to achieve a fault-tolerant operation. Now, coming to configuration of submodules, the submodules is a simple DC to AC power conversion circuit, usually a low voltage IGBT devices with the 1200 volt to 1700 volt, and DC capacitors are used to configure a module. And the commonly used submodule configurations in a modular multi-level converter are half bridge submodule, full bridge submodule, flying capacitor submodule, and cascaded half bridge submodule, and your double clamp CD submodule. So this is typically a configuration of your half bridge submodule, and you can see the output voltage waveform also typically in the output of VH as shown here. The half bridge submodule is often referred as a chopper cell, and it is composed of 2 IGBT with anti-parallel diodes S1 and S dash bar, and the one DC capacitor. So the 2 IGBT devices are operated in complementary manner to regulate the DC bus capacitor voltage at a value of Vc, and the capacitor voltage given as Vc equal to 1 upon C integral your 0 to T IC tau and d tau. So DC capacitor current in terms of AC current XY, and the switching of top device S1 is given as IC equal to S1 IXY, and depending upon the state of the top switch S1, DC capacitor current is equal to either the AC current or 0. And here you can see how it is really the corresponding to state of 2 and 1 S1 1 0, and what is the VHPC and 0, and IX if it is greater than 0, so it becomes your increases and VC approximately, and then similarly X is less than VC decreases. Now of course when equal there is no change for. So the AC output voltage of half bridge submodule has a 2 voltage level 0 and VC, and when the top switch is on, the AC output voltage equal to VC, and in this mode the DC capacitor voltage increases for the positive direction of the current and decreases in the negative direction of the current. So when the top switch is off, AC output voltage is equal to 0, and in this mode the DC capacitor voltage remains constant irrespective of the current direction, and the AC output voltage of the half bridge submodule can be represented in terms of DC capacitor voltage and the switching state of top device S1, so that is VH equal to S1 into VC. Now the another configuration is full bridge submodule. So you can clearly see in submodule, this is just like edge bridge, and you can see the very interesting waveform that you get 3-level waveform here in the output as a VF, which is shown in the figure. So the full bridge submodule is also referred as a edge bridge converter, and it is composed of two half bridges, S1 and S1 bar and S2 and S2 bar with one capacitor C, and each leg consists of two IGBT devices with anti-parallel diodes and are operated in complementary manner. And the DC capacitor voltage is regulated by controlling the IGBT devices S1 and S2. The current going through the capacitor depends on the state of devices S1, S2, and DC capacitor current is given IC equal to in bracket S1, S2 minus S1 bar and 2 S2 bar and into IXY. The switching states are shown in the table here with the three switching states 3, 2, 1, and where S1, S2 status like 1, 1 and 1, 0, 0, 1, and VF is VC and 0, 0, and IXY is greater than VC increases with both the switches on, and typically 4, then if IX less than, then VC decreases. For other two cases, VC remains almost the constant. And then you have a typically blank mode, blocking mode, where you have both the devices 0, that's, and your VF is equal to minus VC, and typically VC decreases, and typically if IXY greater than 0 and IXY less than 0, VC increases by. So when IGBT devices S1, S2 are on, the AC output voltage equal to VC, and in this mode the DC capacitor voltage increases when the current direction is positive and decreases in negative direction of the current. The AC output voltage will be 0 for switching states S1 on and S2 off, and S1 off and S2 on, and in this mode the DC capacitor voltage remain constant irrespective of the current direction. The full bridge submodule has two switching states corresponding to the voltage level 0, and the redundant switching states are used to achieve the symmetrical distribution of power losses between S1 and S2 devices. And the full bridge submodule generates a voltage level minus VC when the devices S1, S2 are off, and VF equal to your bracket S1, S2 minus S1 bar into S2 bar into VC. And this is the third configuration called flying capacitor submodule. So you can clearly see the figure with the flying capacitor. So here the C2 operates as a flying capacitor, and the output voltage typically are shown here, and for the typically two corresponding operating modes. So coming to here the flying capacitor and output waveform. So here is a 3-level configuration and 2-level configuration. These are the two different configurations like come. So it is composed of 4 IGBT devices and the anti-parallel diode S1 S bar and S2 S bar and 2 DC capacitors C1, C2. And the voltage across capacitor is C1, C2 are given as VC1 equal to 1 upon C1 in integral 0 to T IC1 tau into d tau, and VC2 equal to 1 upon C2 0 to integral 0 to T and IC2 tau as a function of tau and dt dot d tau. So DC capacitor current is given in terms of the switching devices states and the AC current. So IC1 equal to S1 IXY and IC2 equal to S2 minus S1 into IXY, and switching states are shown in the table here, where you have a 4 switching state for 3, 2, 1, and for 4 state it is typically S1, S2, 1, 1, then VF3 equal to VC1, and then if IXY is greater than 0, VC1 increases, VC remains same, and IXY less than VC1 decreases and VC remains almost the same. In case of third state, like a 0, 1, VFC equal to VC2, and then here VC1 remain constant, VC2 increases if IXY is greater than 0 and IXY is less than 0, then VC2 decreases and VC1 remains. And similarly for the third one, typically with the switching state of 1, 0, so VFC is VC1 minus VC2, and in this case if IXY is greater than 0, VC1 increases, VC2 decreases, and in case IXY is less than, VC1 decreases, VC2 increases. And then final mode typically 1, where the both devices are of 0, 0, VFC is 0, and all the VC1, VC2 all remains almost same. So there are total 4 switching combination which generates 3 voltage level of 0, VC1 minus VC2 or VC2 and VC1. So when the devices S1 S2 are on, then the AC output voltage is equal to VC1, and in this mode the DC capacitor voltage VC1 increases for the positive direction of the current and decreases the negative direction of the current, and the DC capacitor voltage VC2 remains constant, and the AC output voltage will be VC1 minus VC2 for the switching states S1 on and S2 off. In this mode, the DC capacitor voltage VC1 increases and VC2 decreases for the positive direction of the current and vice versa. So similarly, for a switching state, S1 typically off and S2 on, the AC output voltage equal to VC2. In this mode, the DC capacitor voltage VC2 will change while the DC capacitor voltage will remain constant, and when the switching state S1 and S2 are off, the AC voltage remains 0. And the AC output voltage equation, which represents the operation of flying capacitor, some model is given VFC equal to S1 VC plus S2 minus S1 VC2. So the flying capacitor submodule has dual functionality features, and it can be operated as a half bridge submodule as well. So the switching combination corresponding to the states and are used to generate the voltage level 0 and VC1 respectively. At the DC capacitor C2 is completely bypassed in this mode of operation. The output voltage of half bridge submodule is given as VH equal to S1 into S2 into VC1. So coming to the another fourth configuration like cascaded half bridge submodule. So you have a 4 IGBT here, and typically the output voltage waveform, you can see how it is comes to be like a 3-level voltage waveform. So it composed of 2 identical half bridge submodule connected in series, and the cascaded half bridge submodule has a 2 capacitors, DC capacitor C1 C2 with the equal nominal voltage, and the current flow through these capacitors are given as IC1 equal to S1 IX by, IC2 equal to S2 IX by. The switching states are shown as here. The switching state where first state S1 S2 both are 1, and VCH equal to VC1 plus VC2, where if IXY is greater than 0, then VC1 VC2 both increases, and IXY less than 0, then both VC1 VC2 decreases. So in third state, when S1 S2 are 1 and 0, then VCH VC1, and for X greater than 0, then VC1 increases, VC2 remains almost same, and when IXY less than 0, so VC1 decreases and VC2 remains almost one. And for the switching state 2, when we have a S1 S2 0 1, so VCH is VC2, and if IXY is greater than 0, so VC1 almost, it does not change, that's remains same, and VC2 increases, and similarly for IXY less than 0, VC1 almost constant and VC2 decreases. And the fourth state, when both devices are off 0 0, VCH is 0, and both voltage VC1 and VC2 remains almost constant. The cascade half bridge submodule has a 4 switching combination and generate 3 voltage state VC1 plus VC2, and VC1 and VC2 is 0. When the devices S1 S2 are on, the output voltage equal to VC1 plus VC2, and in this state the DC capacitor C1 C2 voltage increases or decreases based on the direction of the current. And for switching state 2 and 3, one of the half bridge submodules is bypass, and that is the output voltage equal to either VC1 or VC2. In this mode, the DC capacitor voltage corresponding to the inserted half bridge submodule increases for the positive direction of the current and vice versa, and DC capacitor voltage of bypass half bridge submodule remains constant, and the cascaded half bridge submodule generates 0 volt voltage level at the out when the devices S1 S2 are off. The DC capacitor voltage VC1 and VC2 remain constant irrespective of the current direction, and the AC output voltage of cascaded half bridge submodule is mathematically represented as VCH equal to S1 VC1 plus S2 VC2. Coming to sixth configuration, double clamp submodule, where you are having typically a 2 lags and 2 diodes and 2 capacitors with the additional SB edge switch. So you can see the output voltage like typically it goes to a 4 level. So it's called double module without. So it is composed of the 2 identical half bridge submodule, 2 blocking diodes, DB1 and DB2, and 1 IGBT SP. So the current flowing through DC capacitors is given as IC1 equal to S1 IXY plus 1 minus SB IXY, and IC2 equal to S2 IXY plus 1 minus SB IXY. And here the switching states are shown here typically below. 4 states and 2 blocking states. So where fourth state is S1, S2 both are 1, and S3 is 0, S4 is 0, and SP equal to 1. So VCD comes VC1 plus VC2, and YXY is greater than 0, then both increases VC1, VC2, and IXY less than 0, both decreases VC1, VC2. And coming to state 3, when your S1 is 0, S2 is 0, S3 is 0, and S4 is 1, and SB also 1. So VCD is your VC1, and here if IXY is greater than 0, VC increases and VC2 remains constant. And similarly, if ixy less than 0, VCD1 decreases and VC remains almost constant. So coming to switching state 2, I mean S1 is 0 and S2, S3 are 1 and S4 is 0 and S5, SB is 1. So output is your VCD equal to VC2 and your VC remains constant. VC1 remains constant for ixy greater than 0, VC2 increases, and for ixy less than 0, VC2 decreases. And state 1, when S1, S2 both are 0 and S3, S4, SB are 1, 1, 1 and then VCD1 is 0, then VC1 and VC2 does not change even for the direction of current. And for blocking mode, all switches are off, so then output voltage in case of typically VCD, VC1 plus VC2 and VC1 which both increases, and when it is minus VC1 minus VC2, then both typically again VC1, VC2 decreases. Like, so now the normal operation of diode clamp sum module is similar to that of cascade half bridge sum module, which can generate three level VC1, VC2 plus VC2, and VC1 and VC2 are 0 with 4 switching combination. And during normal operation, the IGBT switch device SB is always on when the device S1, S2 are on. The two capacitors of half bridge sub-bundle are connected in series through diode DB1 and DB2 and the switch SB. In this case, the AC output voltage is VC1 plus VC2. To generate the voltage level VC1 and VC2, the one of the half bridge sub-module DC capacitors should be bypassed by turning off either S1 or S2, and the voltage level 0 will be generated by turning off device S1, S2. So AC output voltage, which represents the normal operation, double clamp sub-module is given as VDC equal to SB in bracket S1 VC1 plus S2 VC2, and the double clamp sub-module also generates negative voltage level during the blocking mode of operation. So this mode of operation is used to limit the current during DC side fault. So in this mode, all the IGBT devices are turned off, and this sub-module output voltage is equal to the VC1 plus VC2 for the positive direction of current and minus VC1 and minus VC2 for the negative direction of current. And this is a comparison of the sub-modules in terms of output voltage level. So half bridge give 2 level and 7 give 3 level and CD SM give 4 level, and maximum blocking voltage is VC1 in half bridge full bridge, but in full bridge your flank capacitors and cascaded as well as CD it's a 2 VC, and maximum number of DC capacitor required is 1 1 in case of half bridge full bridge, but flank capacitors is 3 and cascaded 2 and the CD SM is 2. Similarly, all other typical number of devices to VC is 2 I mean for half bridge and 4 for full bridge, and flank capacitor 4 and then cascade 4, and typically CD is typically the 7, and maximum number of devices conduction path 1 for half bridge, 2 for full bridge, 2 for flank capacitor, 2 for cascade, and 3 for CD. And of course their relative operation performance is given as a typically with the other parameters. So coming to principal operation of MMC, so here it is a 3-phase SMC with passive load as you can see here, and here a half bridge sub module inside the MMC is shown here typically. So now coming to the DC system is modeled as a split DC source with the voltage VDC by 2 and series inductance LDC with the equivalent resistance RDC. The 3-phase AC system is connected to passive load of an inductance L0 and a resistance R0. So each sub-module capacitor voltage is rated for VC, and their output voltages are named as VH1, VH2, VH3 and VH4. The sub-module output terminals are connected in series to form an arm voltage. So with 4 SM, the sub-modules, the arm voltage has 5 levels: 0 VC1, VC2, VC2, 3 VC2 and 4 VC. The highest voltage is 4 VC is generated by turning on S1, S2, S3, S4, and similarly the lowest voltage 0 is generated by turning off all the sub-module switches, and intermediate voltage can be generated by using the multiple switching combination redundant switching state, and the redundant switching states are often used to control the sub-module capacitor voltage in an MMC. And these are the typically switching voltage with the different level, with the 0 and then VC, then 2 VC and 3 VC and 4 VC, and the sum of arm voltage equation which represents the operation of an arm is given Vxy equal to Vh1 plus Vh2 plus Vh3 Vh4 equal to S1 VC plus S2 VC plus S3 VC and S4 plus S4 VC also. And now coming to pulse width modulation for MMC. So there are many technical pulse width modulation scheme with the high switching frequency modulation, phase shifted carrier modulation, then level shifted. Level shift further is the phase decomposition, phase opposition model, and alternate phase opposition decomposition. Similarly, for low frequency switching, frequency modulation is sample average modulation and space vector modulation, and frequency switching, anomaly switching frequency modulation is hysteresis modulation and selective harmonic modulation. So this is coming to typically per phase modulation of MMC. As you can see, the per phase equivalent circuit of this MMC, where you have a 2 voltage source with the typically 2, and then the 2 inductor concurrently with the output. The phase shift carrier modulation, the triangular carrier signals can be arranged either in horizontally or vertically within the linear modulation range, and the modulation scheme with the horizontal disposition of identical triangular carrier signal is referred as phase shifted carrier modulation, PSC PIRLOM. And PSC PIRLOM, all the triangular signal have the same frequency to peak amplitude, but there is a phase shift between the adjacent triangular signal. So from the equivalent circuit, the arm modulation signals are given as Vx equal to Vdc by 2 minus Vxi minus Ldi by dixu upon dt minus R Ixu, and Vx1 is Vdc by 2 plus Vxy minus L dx1 upon dt minus R Ix1. So arm inductor L is mainly designed to limit the magnitude of circulating current owing to through the arms, and these circulating current may mainly exist due to the switching mismatches between upper and lower arm submodule and the ripple in the submodule floating capacitor voltage. So phase modulation signal is defined as Vxy equal to Ma into Vdc by 2 into sine omega 0 t plus theta x. So applying this PSC PIRLOM for the modular multi-level converter with the n submodules per arm require n triangular carrier signal, and these n triangular signals are arranged with a phase shift of phi c, where phi c is 360 by n, and the upper and lower arm typical signal can be displaced with the interleave angle phi ci, which is given as phi ci equal to 360 degree divided by 2n. And this is the level shifted carrier waveform, how it looks like. I mean, you have a 4 carrier with the phase shifted manner with the modulating signal Vx1 and Vxy. And so in LSC PIRLOM, the triangular carrier signals with the identical peak to peak magnitude and frequency are vertically disposed with the linear modulation region, and each triangular carrier signal represents the two voltage levels, hence the name level shifted. So the LSC PIRLOM is implemented based on the output voltage levels, and it can be easily applied to any multi-level converter. However, this modulation scheme is less preferred for the CHB, FC and MMC converter, since it causes an uneven power loss distribution among the submodules and typical devices. So further it affects the harmonic distortion of AC output in the your CHB capacitor voltage, because balance in flying capacitor, and it results in unequal distribution of submodule capacitor voltage ripple and large magnitude of circulating current in MMC. Now coming to sample average modulation. So sample average modulation scheme directly controls the phase voltage of the MMC and generates the line-to-line voltage implicitly. And this approach is computationally less complex and easy to apply for MMC with any number of the submodules without any modification. And the three-phase equivalent of the sample average modulation results in the elimination of the average zero sequence voltage in each sampling interval, reduces the ripple in the output current, and minimizes the harmonic distortion of the output voltage and current. So in this method, the reference phase voltage is generated by averaging the two nearest voltage level in each sampling interval. So the typical volt second balance of the reference voltage is expressed in terms of two nearest voltage level and corresponding 12 times as Vrxi n t into Ts equal to Vx1 Tx1 plus V2 x2 into Tx2, and where Ts is Tx1 plus Tx2. So where V and Rxi represent the normalized reference phase voltage with the offset of Vx1 and Vx2 represent the nearest phase voltage level, and Tx1 and Tx2 represent the dwell times of the phase voltage level respectively, and Ts represent the sampling time, which is equal to the summation of dwell time at Tx1 plus Tx2. Dwell times Tx1 Tx2 are given as Tx2 equal to Vrxi n minus Vx1 divided by Vx2 minus Vx1 into Ts and Tx1 equal to Ts minus Tx2. Now coming to space vector modulation. The space vector modulation approach has a flexibility of selecting the best switching vector among the redundant switching vectors to enhance the DC bus utilization, better harmonic performance, and regulation of common mode voltage magnitude, etc. However, in spite of these advantages, the SVM is difficult to implement for converters that have higher than 3 levels due to the large number of switching vectors. So generally, for an M level converter, there are M3 switching vectors and M6 n-1 square triangles in the space vector diagram, and the implementation of SVM in ABC coordinate system makes it easier to obtain the switching vectors and duty cycle, and if it is an equivalent of 2 level SVM. The upper and lower arms of the 3-phase MMC system are controlled using independent SVM scheme, which is referred as a dual SVM, and synthesis of reference arm voltage vectors. The normalized output voltage vector for M level multi-level converter is defined as VR as a bar in bracket A star B star C star equal to M minus 1 upon by 2, and in bracket M A sin omega 0 t, and then M A sin omega 0 t minus 2 pi by 3, M A sin omega 0 t minus 2 pi by 3. So where ABC stars represent the 3-phase reference modulation signal, and the upper and lower arm reference vectors are obtained for the normalized reference output vector and expressed as VRU. Reference is A star B star C star and equal to M minus 1 upon 2, and bracket 1 minus MA into sin omega 0 t, and 1 minus MA sin omega 0 t minus 2 pi by 3, and 1 minus MA sin omega t 0 t minus 4 pi by 3. Then VRL equal to A star B star L and C star L equal to M minus 1 by 2 in bracket 1 plus MA sin omega 0 t plus and 1 plus MA sin omega 0 t minus 2 pi by 3, and 1 plus MA sin omega 0 t minus 2 pi by 3, where AU, BU and CU stars represent the 3-phase upper arm reference modulation signal. A1 star, B1 star and C1 star represent the 3-phase lower arm modulation signals. M is the number of voltage level, MA is the modulation index in the range MA 0 to 1, and omega 0 is the fundamental angular frequency. And you can say 2-level space vector modulation would look like. And these are typically space vector for 5-level multi-level inverter. You have a lot of combination typically in 5-level, and many you can call it the maybe redundant, and some are logical states. So now coming to normalized reference vector, PRY is decomposed into offset voltage a vector and a 2-level voltage vector VR pi t. So VRI equal to VRY0 plus VR pi t. So determination of switching vectors. So in the ABC coordinate system, the normalized reference vector is synthesized by using nearest 4 switching vector. The volt second balance of the reference vector is given by VRI bar TS equal to VY1 bar into TY plus VRY VY2 TY2, and VY3 bar TY3 and VY4 into TY4, and TS equal to TY1 plus TY2 plus TY3 plus TY4. So these switching vectors are identified based on the location of the normalized reference vector in the 2-level space vector diagram. And coming to now calculation of dwell time. So once the switching vectors are identified, the next step is to calculate the dwell times of each switching vector, and these dwell times are calculated from the reference arm voltage. The dwell times of each arm can be obtained as the DAY to in bracket AY star minus floor in bracket AY star bracket close into TS. Similarly, TV by equal to B by star minus floor B by star bracket close into TS, and TCY is also CY star minus floor CY star and then into TS. The dwell time of each switching vector is given TY1 to 1 minus maximum of TAY, TVI, TVCY, and TY2 equal to maximum of TY, TY, BY, TVCY minus medium of TAY, TBY, TCY, and TY3 equal to medium of TAY, TBY, TCY minus minimum of TAY, TBY, TCY. and T by 4 equal to minimum of Ti by T by Ti Tci and T by 0 equal to T by 1 plus T by 4. And the typically dwell time of switching vectors of the how really the typically the output and switching vectors are there with the. Coming to staircase modulation, in this method the each leg of the modular multi-level converter is independently controlled using a staircase modulation approach, and this method uses the nearest voltage level to generate the desired reference phase voltage, hence it is also termed as the nearest level modulation (NLM). The switching states and dwell times are directly computed from the reference phase voltage. This scheme is easy to implement in digital control and is most practical field of methods for high power MMC based HVDC system. So NLM method generate the power quality voltage waveforms, and if there are small number of submodules per arm, therefore the staircase modulation approach is also mainly applied to the high level application where the step number is very large. So now coming to upper and lower arm voltage are given as Vxy equal to VDC by 2 minus MA into VDC by 2 sin omega 0 t plus delta theta x, and Vx1 equal to VDC by 2 plus MA into VDC by 2 into sin omega 0 t plus delta x. So total DC bus voltage of each arm expressed in terms of number of submodules and the rated module capacitor voltage. So VDC equal to NVC, and hence the Vxy equal to XU equal to NVC 1 by 2 minus MA into NVC by 2 sin omega 0 t plus theta x, and Vx1 equal to NVC plus MA into NVC by 2 and sin omega 0 t plus theta x. Now coming to control of MMC. So here the block diagram of control of MMC. So we have a primary objective, that is output current control and SM capacitor voltage control, and secondly control objective is circulating current control, and that is decided by digital control system. That gating signal goes to the MMC in this control. So the submodule capacitor voltage control involve the lag voltage control and voltage balance among the arms submodule, and the submodules in each arm are controlled to generate an output voltage corresponding to the required magnitude of AC output current. An output current controller is required to improve the dynamic and steady state performance of the load. So the difference between the submodule capacitors voltage in the upper and lower arm of the three converter voltage leads to a circulating current. So circulating current increases the RMS value of the arm current and results in an increase in the power loss and reduction of the system size. Therefore, the suppression of circulating current is necessary. And they typically diagram of classical control. So where we have output current control, then we have a lag voltage control, circulating current control, and from this the signal goes to the remaining block with the comparison, and then you get the typically out, and then we have a voltage balance strategy and balance strategy and giving to the gate signal for MMC. So now in the classical control method, independent control approach is used to control the submodule capacitor voltage, output current and circulating current. The submodule capacitor voltage control inputs a voltage lag voltage control and voltage unbalance strategy. That the voltage balance strategy maintains a submodule capacitor's voltage to an identical value with the within the R, and the voltage balancing can be achieved at either control stage or using a closed loop controller, or at a modulation stage by using the logical functions. So lag voltage controller generates a compensating signal which is added to the upper and lower arm modulation signal. So similarly, the output current and the circulating currents are controlled using a closed loop controller, and they generate the command Vxi star and Vxz star respectively. The control commands are added to the upper and lower arm modulation signal and results in Vxy star equal to VDC by 2 minus Vxi I star minus Vxz star minus Vdtx star, and similarly Vx1 star equal to VDC2 by 2 plus Vxy star minus Vxi2 xz star and minus Vdtx star. So where Vx star, Vxu star and Vxxl represent the modulation signal for the upper and lower arm. These modulation signals are then given to the modulation stage. And now it is coming to the lag voltage control. So for lag voltage control, we have a VC star and VCX. Error goes to PI control, which gives X IXD star, and similarly IXU with the IX1 added with divided by 1/6 as it goes to as XD, both taken as a difference. Go to error goes to PI control, which gives the VD TTX star. So this control has an outer voltage and inner control loop, and the outer voltage loop regulates the average of 2n submodule capacitor voltage in each lag at constant value of VC star, which is equal to the submodule capacitor voltage VC. The voltage control loop minimizes the error between the reference and the actual voltage and give the DC current component which command as IXD star. So the DC bus current command is given as IXD star equal to KP V in bracket VC star minus VCX plus KIV integral VC star minus VCX into DT, where KPV and KIV are the proportional integral gains of the voltage loop respectively, and DC current component is controlled by using an inner current loop, and this loop minimizes the error between the reference and actual DC current component and give a compensating signal VDT X star equal to KPI in bracket IXD star minus IXP plus KII integral IXD star minus IXD into DT, where the KPI are the proportional and integral gains of control loop respectively. Now coming to voltage balance, flowchart of voltage balancing and comparison logic. The voltage for balance balancing, we give the voltage VXCY1 and VXYN, X to comparison table, and then we get output VHH, and similarly IXY to decide XY greater than or AD equal to 1 or AD equal to 0. And then with the AD and VIT, we go to calculation of AIH, that is VIH plus AD into AD plus N1 minus 1 minus VIH into 1 minus AD, that comes as AH. And then if AIH is greater than N minus DY, then XYH equal to 0, else XYH equal to 0. And then with the XY in the next block, if DXY, DXYP, and typical DXYH D3, if D is not, XY is not equal to DXYP, that is GXH equal to GXH, else GXH equal to XPXH, and that out the GXH. And with the typically the three VCXY, VCY2 and YN, it goes to with the logic operation to VI1, VI2, VIN. So coming to steps, to measure the SM controller, SM capacitor voltage in each arm and feed their magnitude value to the comparison logic. And in comparison logic, each capacitor voltage is compared with the other capacitor voltage, and the output of each comparator is added together to obtain an index number VIH, and the highest index number is assigned to the submodule with the lowest capacitor voltage and vice versa. To measure the arm current IXY and determine its direction AD. So for positive reaction AD equal to 1 and for negative reaction AD equal to 0 is assigned, and arrange the submodule index numbers in either ascending or descending order based on the direction of arm current. So AIH equal to VIH into AD plus N minus 1 minus VIH into 1 minus AD. So typically they obtain the required number of inserted submodules GXY from the modulation stage and compare the actual index number for each submodule AIH with the reference index number N minus DXY to generate the insert or bypass states of each submodule. So inserted number of submodules in the present control cycle DXY is compared with the previous control cycle DXYP, and the difference in DXYP and DXYP allow the apply to new getting signal. Therefore, the submodule switching frequency can be maintained constant or equal to the carrier frequency of the film scheme. Now coming to numerical example. So coming to example 1, a 5-level inverter is feeding an induction motor drive and being controlled using a space vector modulation scheme. Calculate the number of switching vectors and number of tanglers in a space vector diagram. So solution is for an M-level converter, the number of switching vectors is M equal to 5. So M to power 3 equal to 5 to power 3, that is 125. And the number of triangles can be calculated 6 into M minus 1 to square, that is equal to putting a value m equal to 5, it comes 96. Now coming to example 2, design a pendulum scheme for MMC as per the rated parameter as follows. Rated apparent power as 0 equal to MVA, output line to line voltage V0 equal to 6 kV, rated output frequency be 60 Hz, rated power factor 0.85 lag, and rated DC voltage VDC 10 kV, and number of submodules per arm is n equal to 4, and the arm inductance L equal to 5 millihenry. It is controlled using a phase shifted carrier pendulum at the switching frequency of 540 Hz. So solution is assume the floating capacitor for each submodule is replaced with an ideal battery source, and DC bus voltage VDC is equally distributed between the submodule in each arm, and its value is given to be equal to VDC upon n, that it comes 2500 volt. And PSC pendulum requires for triangular carrier signal to control the 4 half bridge submodule in each arm, and these carrier signals are arranged with a horizontal phase shift of phi c equal to 360 degree by n, that is equal to 90 degree, and upper and lower arm carrier signals are arranged with the interleave angle of phi ci equal to 360 1 to n, that it comes 45 degree, and the number of voltage level 2n plus 1 equal to 9, and let us consider the modulation index of 0.95. So reference modulation signal are then obtained. VA u equal to 10,000 by 2 minus 0.95 10,000 by 2 into sine 2 pi into 60t, and similarly AL equal to 10,000 by 2 plus 0.95 10,000 by 2 into sine 2 pi into 60t. The switching frequency of modulation multi-level converter is W equal to NFC, that is equal to 8 into 540, that is 4,320 Hz. So coming to example 3, the design a pendulum scheme of MMC as per the rated parameter as follows. The rated apparent power as 0 equal to MVA, output line to line voltage V0 6 kV, and rated output frequency is F0 equal to 60 Hz, and rated power factor 0.85 lag, and rated DC bus voltage is 10 kV. Number of modules per arm 4, and the arm inductance 5 million. This is controlled using a sample average modulation at a sampling frequency of 1.8 kHz. So some solution is the sample average modulation requires a normalized phase voltage which is obtained from phase A with m equal to 0.95 and f0 equal to 60 Hz and theta equal to 0 degree, and VAI n equal to 4 by 2 into 0.95 sine 2 pi into 60t, and the normalized phase voltage has peak to peak value of 4. To calculate the nearest voltage level, an offset of 10 by 2, that is 4 by 2, and 2 is added in the normalized phase voltage. So resultant phase modulation signal is given as VRAI to power n equal to 4 by 2 into n bracket 1 plus 0.95 sine 2 pi into 60t, and the switching time period is 1 by f is equal to ts, that is 555.555 microsecond. For example, nearest to voltage level at rated sampling instant equal to 0.0267 second are obtained from the phase modulation index, that's VARIN equal to 0.863 and VA1 equal to 4.83, that is 0, and